Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing today? Welcome to Tech DJ, the decision junction to help you make better choices in life. Are you confused between any of the machine learning model choices? Let's say if you have a choice to make between a logistic regression model versus random forest model. Tech DJ will help you solve that today. To make your choice better, let's think of a topic. The topic could be around subscribers to my channel. And where do we host our channels? YouTube. Wow, that's great. However, what will you do? What would be your topic? How will you deal with it? Tech DJ's ice-breaking question for today. To predict whether a new YouTube channel will reach 1000 subscribers in 3 months, basis your answer of yes or no, based on a very early performance and a content related features. Let's see what do we have in scope. If you want to identify the difference between logistic regression or a random forest model, you have to look at some of the basic features. What is the type of your model? Logistic regression is a simple linear model. However, for a random forest, it's an ensemble of decision trees. What are the pros of using each of them? A logistic regression is simple, it's very fast. On the other hand, random forest handles a lot of nonlinear data very well with a high accuracy. However, there are cons to it as well. Logistic regression model assumes a linear relationship between the features and the prediction. However, random forest model is less interpretable. However, it's slow on larger data. What's the best for use cases here? When features are well behaved and few. Random forest when the features are very complex or interactions do exist. We will discover them in much more details going forward as well. So for logistic regression, remember, when you want to explain why a channel may succeed, impact of the views, you may have to select a logistic regression model. However, if you would want to go for a random forest model, you want it only for a better accuracy and to understand if you have too many features that interact in complex or nonlinear ways. Now that you have some idea around some of the very basic differences between logistic regression model and random forest model, you still have a burning question around monetization change. How can you discover the model itself? Now that the problem statement has already been defined, it's very important to understand how machine learning models work. For a machine learning model to work, you also have a very basic requirement in hand, and the requirement is around the features. Let's see if we can identify the list of important features of the proposed model. So to be able to possibly generate a list of features, you need to know the name of the feature, their types, and what do they mean. For our use case, you could go with some of the very basic features. For example, average views on the first 10 videos, or the number of videos uploaded per week, average video length in minutes. You could have a categorical feature indicating what is the type or the niche of the video. For example, it's a tech, gaming, or educational video. You could also have some binary fields in with respect to your thumbnails or if the channel has an introductory video or not. You could also have few more numerical fields where you can identify the average comments or any of the likes or comments, and the list can be huge. However, you also need to define what is your target feature. In our model, the target feature has to be defined in the format of a binary feature, whether you actually will get 100,000 subscribers or not. So just to recap, you have already understood what are the types of models that you are dealing with, and to be able to generate a model you need few things. Besides that, we will also share some very important tips and tricks with you so that you can learn ahead. So friends, in the list of additional tips for your best model outcomes, let's see what we have here. So we have to understand a very important topic called feature processing techniques. If you are aware of your feature type, if it is numerical, if it is categorical, binary, or even textual driven, there are various types of pre-processing techniques which you may have to use. There would be a detailed video made by me where I will explain how you can actually look forward to these techniques and use them in your model. However, besides knowing your feature type, do not forget to also process your data. If you know if there are missing values, you need to handle them. You have to scale some of the important features. If there are categorical features, you have to of course do one hot encoding to ensure that you can understand and create more values in the categorical features and combine the features as you require them for your model. If you would want to know how to get the codes of logistic regression versus random forest model in Python and how the equations are being set up, you can refer to some of the Python codes that I have mentioned below. So, finally, you know that we are at a place, we know what our topic is, we know how to deal with it, we know how to clean it. So, finally, you should be in a situation now to understand if you have to choose between the choice of the model, model A versus model B, you still have to answer a few more questions. Let's see what those questions are. Tech DJ will give you very important tips to make your decision. In a nutshell, if you have to choose between two models, let's see if you can base out some of your objectives. What could be the questions that you're going to answer via the models? You want to explain the impact of the features. If you want a very high accuracy, are the features linearly related to each other? You need to handle complex interactions automatically, or your interpretability for your business is very important, or if the data is very large or noisy. So, some of these questions help you understand how actually your model outcomes will depend. So let's see. Do you want to explain why a channel succeeds in this case here? You can choose a logistic regression model if you know how much each factor like views frequency affects the outcomes. Do you also care about accurate predictions than just the explainability part of it? Then you may use random forest. You will have a lot of complex patterns in the data because human eyes cannot see it. So if you care about accurate predictions, then of course go for a random forest model. And then do the input features have a very strong interaction or a non-linear behavior? If you have to learn more about what non-linearity between two features or even the predictor variable or with your independent features are, then you may have to go with a random forest model because these patterns can be naturally handled by a random forest model. And finally, is your dataset large or noisy with a lot of missing or irregular patterns? Logistic model will not be able to solve for that. You will have to select random forest model if you would want to have a very robust model with less noise, outliers and deal with missing data. I hope you enjoyed this topic today. However, if there are many other topics that you may have worked upon, especially to identify the use cases between your random forest model or a logistic regression model, don't forget to mention them in the comments. If you have liked the entire content, please comment and subscribe back. Thank you. See you again.